I'm here at the NEC show, just before the show is opening, with Karina from Here We Tow. Hi Karina.
Hi Matt, how are you today?
I'm really well, it's great to see you. What a show it's been. We're on day 5 today, I think, aren't we?
Yeah, it's been absolutely fantastic, and it's really worked well with the ticket sales being pre-booked. We've had a great flow of people through the halls. It's been non-stop, and it's been great to see everyone again back in person.
I know, that's the best bit, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the best bit. So tell us a bit about you. You have a YouTube channel called Here We Tow. This is a motorhome based podcast. That suggests that you've got a caravan, but I know you've now got a motorhome. Tell us your story.
Yeah, that's right. So basically back in 2017 we had a static caravan, we have our dog, and we were doing a lot of holidays in our static and also cottage holidays and going abroad, but we're having to leave our dog Fudge behind. So it started to make us think about maybe a touring caravan, because obviously we could take Fudge with us, we could go to Europe and tour as well. So October 2017 we came to the Caravan and Motorhome Show here at the NEC. We looked around a number of caravans and we bought an Adria. We put an order in for an 8-foot wide caravan. We went big all the way, which is my philosophy in life, go big. So we ordered that. And we decided to start up a bit of a YouTube channel because we were totally new to touring. We knew nothing about leisure vehicles. So we put that out really to help other people as well that were coming into buying a vehicle. Our caravan arrived in April 2018. We bought a new tow car and off we went, and that's where it all sort of evolved from really. We had some excellent holidays with the caravan. We did go to Europe as well. We did a 7-week tour. We went all the way up around Sweden, and we ended up at the Caravan Salon at Dusseldorf as well, another big show. And Fudge, our dog, could come with us, and we really enjoyed the caravanning. However, we then evolved towards motorhomes, believe it or not, and I was really not into them whatsoever originally, so to make that transition was quite a big thing really. And the way that came about was we'd moved from Yorkshire down to Somerset, and we realised that our touring style had totally changed. It wasn't like a week or two on the caravan site. We wanted to get all around the coast, and our caravan was just too big for that. And I think a lot of people will probably be in the sort of dilemma of what's going to be best for them. So we managed to get a press loan from Adria, a small compact motorhome, a 6-metre motorhome, and so off we went in that.
So hang on, you got a free motorhome?
Well, when I say it was free, it was free. It was on a press loan for 3 months, but in exchange we created content for our YouTube channel, which was really helpful for the people that are thinking caravans or motorhomes, because again, we'd never been motorhoming, we knew nothing about them. Everything we learned was literally from within the industry, from talking to other motorhomers and from watching YouTube. We've learned everything from watching YouTube, and now we pass it on our channel. So we had it for 3 months and we had some amazing little trips and we absolutely loved it. And I was drawn to the dark side, as they call it. I was drawn all the way, I'll be absolutely honest. So that was the summer of 2020, which is sort of just as we were coming out of the restrictions that we'd had due to COVID. We absolutely loved it. The dog loved it as well. It's great. If you have got dogs or pets, motorhoming, caravanning, it really works. You don't have to leave them behind. So we then we decided that was it. We were really won over by the motorhome, surprisingly. So we did some research and we decided we did want an Adria motorhome. Price-wise, obviously, they're pretty expensive. We sold our caravan. We had to change and get rid of our big tow car because we couldn't afford to run that anymore. And we ordered an Adria Compact Supreme DL motorhome, which is 7 metres long, but it's only 2.1 metres wide. Because one of our things was we didn't want anything too big, because we wanted to be able to get in the car parks to park, still get out to the chip shop, you know, important things, you know, when you're touring. So we put an order in October 2021 for a new motorhome. We were told it'd arrive in October 2020, we ordered it. We were told it'd arrive in May 2021, but as a lot of people out there will know, delays. There's been massive delays on motorhomes. There's been a lot of sort of disappointed people, but unfortunately we've got to understand that right now, you know, things aren't normal as they have been. So what we decided, because we'd sold the caravan, we've got nothing to tour in, we decided to buy a used motorhome to put us on. So we got in touch with our dealer, who we were waiting for our new one, and they had a used 2016 motorhome, and we agreed that we would buy that, and that was in April 2021. So we bought that, and off we went, and oh my god, we had a brilliant time. Absolutely loved it. It was a little bit bigger, it was 7.4 metres, but we managed no problem. We, I did a lot of research when we went touring about parking the motorhome. We didn't tow a car with us, it was just all about the motorhome. We had that for 3 months, and then our new motorhome arrived in July 2021.
So what was that motorhome?
So it's the one we had used was an Adria Coral,
okay,
and the one that we've got now is the Adria Compact Supreme DL. So again, this is smaller than the used one, but absolutely fantastic. So what we like about that is it's a European motorhome. If people aren't familiar with Adria, it's from Slovenia. They have a huge garage in the back. That was really important for us. In there we've got our big motorhome box of stuff, our table, our chairs, all that sort of stuff. We've got a good payload on that. We found various things have been really important when we were making a decision on which motorhome to pick for us, because everyone's different and there's always a compromise. That's another thing we've found. But the big garage was important. The layout we went for has got the 2 bench seats and the 2 single beds at the back that converts into 1 big bed. We have found some pros and cons of that, and it's also in our new one we've got the toilet washroom all together, and again we found a few pros and cons to that as opposed to having them separate. So it's really difficult to choose, the size over the practicality, and that's been a big thing. But we've had some amazing trips, literally all over the UK. We've not got to Europe yet, but it's going to happen.
Yeah, well, hopefully it can then.
Yeah.
So just rewinding a bit, you said earlier in our chat that you were against motorhomes and you weren't very keen on having one, that you were all about the Caravan. Why was that? What was it about motorhome that at that point put you off?
The price, being from Yorkshire, we've got to look at how much things cost.
Of course.
Yeah, but no, it probably, actually, genuinely, at the start it was about price. We worked out, obviously we were going to get the Caravan and the tow car, and it still came in less than the motorhome. And also the internal space. Front, because we've got a really big 8-foot wide Caravan, there was loads of room when we were on site. The only problem was it was big to tow. With the motorhomes, I always felt it was quite a small lounge, it was getting changed, it was just that smaller space, and that at that point was a compromise that I wasn't willing to make. However, as things sort of evolved about how we wanted to tour, we found the Caravan, it was quite involved, legs up, legs down, security on, go get your water. There was a lot more to it, whereas with the motorhome, as long as the water tank was full, literally off you go. You arrive on site and Bob's your uncle, and that's it, off you go. What I found is it's all about, when we're touring now in the motorhome, it's about planning. When we get there, how we're going to go and see the sites we want to see. I literally use a couple of apps that I've got on my phone that I download, and they've been really useful to find car parks that haven't got height barriers, places that are motorhome friendly, so I can get right into where I want to go.
Can you tell us what apps those are? That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's Park for Night's one of them that I've used. That's been a really useful one. That's probably the main one that I've used. But also I then use, wherever I'm going, I go on council websites on their parking section, and quite often they'll give you exact details of which car parks in that county will accept motorhomes in those car parks, so you're not wasting time driving around, and often it will tell you how much you need to pay as well, and whether you can even stay overnight, because some car parks have found that where you can pay to stay overnight as well, which is always handy.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. What a great idea. So there's lots of differences between a caravan holiday and a motorhome holiday, and people often, I find, make a direct comparison. They are a very different type of holiday, aren't they? And it's interesting that you say you have to plan more when you're using the motorhome. I find that's true when you're going somewhere and you want to get somewhere, to go and visit sites. But do you use the motorhome where you just kind of make it up as you go along? I find you get a lot more freedom with a motorhome than with a caravan. Do you just kind of plan every night you're going to stop, or do you just see where you go, see where you want to go?
Yeah, it's a bit of a mix really, because sometimes we have just set off, because sometimes you'll find if you book too many nights on a site and you don't like the site, you're stuck. With the motorhome, it is more that you can just arrive. We've found though, since the sites have got very busy this last year, it can be a little bit of a risk just to turn up and hope for the best. So I've always sort of at least looked to make sure there's availability before I've headed off somewhere. And that's always something to bear in mind, that a lot of sites now in popular locations are going to be busy. I am a member of both clubs, the Caravan and Motorhome Club and the Camping Caravanning Club, and I find that that's good to have that, and they've both got apps as well. I do sometimes, I prefer to book quite often for us, just so I know I have got a pitch when we go there. But unlike the Caravan, where you're definitely booking way in advance, because if you turned away at the gate, you've got a bit of a problem. Whereas the motorhome, you know, you can just trundle on, and then you can use your app to find places where you can, you know, park up quite legally overnight. So you've got that flexibility. And we have enjoyed the odd stay where we have done the like pub stops as well. You can use those. That's called Brit Stops, which I'm sure many people that listen to you are already well aware
book,
of that.
Isn't it, rather than an app?
Yeah, it is a book. I'm not sure whether they have got an app as well now. I'm not sure on that. Is it just the book?
They didn't used to have.
Right. So there is the book. So and that's great. You know, we've done that quite a few times, because it is nice to go and have something to eat as well, and combine that as part of the trip.
Yeah, great. So it's really interesting about your journey from a caravan into a motorhome, and I speak to lots of people who are very anti-motorhomes, like you were. Is there any advice or considerations that you would give to people who are maybe thinking, well, let's buy a caravan because it's cheaper, but they really think, well, why would we buy a motorhome? What advice would you give to people?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and it's fair to say as well now, caravan prices and motorhome prices have both gone up, and that's where we're at right now. I would say, depending on which best suits you, is what sort of touring you want to do. If you're the sort of person, like I was, that wants to go to a site for a week or 2 weeks and just tour from that site, go with a caravan. Because once you're set up, that's it. And you've got a base, you've got that comfort, the big lounge, all the rest of it. All you do then is make sure you fill your water and empty your grey waste, and that's the end of that. If you're the sort of person, which like I am now, where I want to have a couple of nights here, a couple of nights there, then definitely that motorhome or a camper van even is certainly more suitable for that style of touring. There's a lot less effort than all the legs up, legs down and security that comes with the caravan. So depending on your touring style, if you do like to just shoot off for a couple of nights, the freedom aspect of the motorhome is what I've really embraced. It's about freedom. The compromise is the sort of the comfort in the sort of being able to relax more, because we've not gone for a great big 9-metre motorhome where you are going to get more internal space, but you're going to find that's going to be harder to get you down the country lanes of Cornwall and just, you know, park in the car parks in a town centre. So yeah, those are the two different styles of touring.
I kind of describe them as a bicycle wheel. So with a caravan, you're the hub, where you park the caravan, and then you create journeys that look like the spokes going out in the car to all of the destinations. Whereas in a motorhome, you're the rim of the wheel, going in a big circle, and every night you're in a different location. And do you stop one night at a campsite and move on the next day, or do you spend a few nights? I mean, I guess it's going to vary, but how do you normally plan your trips?
It totally, like I say, it totally varies. If I'm wanting to do a couple of counties and I'll have a couple of nights, it might be there's something I want to see a couple of things in one place. So I might have 2 or 3 nights and then just have one somewhere else. And one night I might not even be sightseeing. It just totally depends on where we're going and what we're doing. So yeah, just literally a few nights. And the beauty is you literally can just pack up and move on. And we like to use e-bikes as well. We've got e-bikes, they're in the garage. So it's fantastic that you don't always have to drive the motorhome everywhere. You can from the site either jump on your bike and pedal, you can get on the bus, you can get on the train, you can walk. Some sites are right there in the action as well. I often do a bit of research about getting right in it, so I'm not having to think about, you know, parking up somewhere in the motorhome. So yeah, totally, it's definitely about you and the motorhome. And also when you go somewhere, you've got your fridge. That's an absolute bonus I found. When you arrive somewhere, you've got your fridge with drinks and food. You can cook something if you need to. You've got your toilet on board, and as a lady, that's really important, I'll tell you now. That's a big thing. So yeah, it is all just about that. You've got your own little home with you, and even with having Fudge the dog, he needs a drink or some food. You know, we can cater for him, and we're not having to sort of, you know, leave him behind. He's always involved.
Brilliant. So you mentioned as well about the delay with new motorhomes right now.
Yeah.
You did quite a brave thing really and bought a second-hand one to get you on your way.
Yeah.
And there's lots of advice at the moment that people should come to a show and have a look and really consider what the layout is they want to buy, what motorhome model, and so on. What's your advice, Paul? Should they go and take the plunge and go and buy a second-hand one? Should they hire one? And should they wait, or what should they do?
Well, what I'd say to anyone, whether you're thinking about a caravan or motorhome, or whether you know you want a motorhome but you're not sure which layout, is look at hiring, because not everyone can just go out and buy a used one. There's not a lot of stock about. They are quite highly priced. And if you buy one and then you realise it's not for you, we were lucky. We were buying one and we bought it and part X'd it back when our new one arrived. But hiring, there's hire companies everywhere. Obviously you'll know all about hire, but definitely hire it, and then you can have a look at the layout, try it, and also size wise, you might realise that a 7.4 metre long motorhome is way too big for what you're thinking, or way too small. And also, if you've got children, it's a bit of a leap of faith. Will your children enjoy the motorhome, or will the caravan suit them more? So hire from a company that is reputable as well. Look at reviews. That's what I always say. It's always important to see what other people have said about the motorhome hire company and go with a reputable firm. But ring up, speak to them, ask their advice, because people that hire motorhomes, they're generally motorhomers themselves, or if not, they certainly know a lot about it. And it'll also give you an idea about the way of touring and what goes with that, sort of filling your water tanks, emptying your tanks, finding sites, the whole package really. And it gives you an idea when you come to buy, so you're not getting it wrong, because it can be a really costly mistake. If you get the wrong layout, you've spent a lot of money.
That was my experience. That was my story. But no, great advice. Thank you. Good advice. So how can people find you? You're on YouTube. And tell us a bit more about Here We Tow.
So Here We Tow is on YouTube, and that is our name. And on there, what I do is I do reviews of caravans and motorhomes. I also review campsites, various products, and I film my trips and tours as well when I'm away. I do solo motorhoming as well as a woman, so some of those trips are me by myself, including when I broke down on the M42 with a blowout, so that's worth a watch. And basically it's how to deal with that situation, because that wasn't much fun at all. And I also do the towing as well, so if you're interested in seeing about towing, and a lady towing as well, which can be useful for people. But there's loads of trips that I've done in the motorhome. There's food in there. I'm pretty big on food. There's fish and chips and ice cream and the full thing going on. So drop in on the channel, and hopefully it'll give you some good insight into that transition, how to get the most out of your motorhome, where to go on your holidays, and just a bit of inspiration, hopefully. If not,
fantastic.
it's
and
worth
it is great. It's very entertaining. You're brilliant on it, I have to say.
Thank you.
So check out YouTube Here We Tow, and you'll see Karina and Fudge. And there's someone else in the podcast with you in the YouTube channel, is there not?
Yes, there is. There's Jules, my husband, who doesn't say much, because as you can tell, I can generally hold my own when it comes to talking. But there's Jules as well, and believe it or not, he knows quite a bit, especially about awnings. There's a lot of awning content in there as well, including awnings for motorhomes as well, and accessories, and because they're quite important too. So please do join us on the channel if you want, and hopefully it'll give you some advice.
Fantastic. Karina, thank you ever so much for talking to us. Have a great rest of the show, and we'll see you on the next edition of Here We Tow.
Brilliant. Thank you.